Good morning, Bob By, formerly of Mason's Chartered Accountants. First of all, congratulations on achieving your milestone in what is probably a life-changing event. Would you agree?
It has been, Norman. Yes, it really has been. It's a bit of a shock to the system when you decide you're going to retire, but yeah, slowly getting used to it.
Yeah, yours was very unusual. You made contact with me. I think we first spoke about, I don't know, 4 years ago or something, and then we kept contact because you knew retirement was coming, and you did the right thing. You can only kick the can down the road so long. And I went down to see you, I think it was November 19, one of my last trips out before the country shut down. And you had a very interesting situation because you had 3 partners, each with slightly different requirements, and obviously this is something which needed addressed. How did you feel that process went?
I must admit, when we started chatting, I was a bit concerned, not from your point of view, but from our point of view, how one of our partners was going to react to the news that we wanted to do stuff. But I must admit, when you came down and we started chatting it through and looking at different sort of ways of doing things, I think the guy that was a bit nervous about doing this actually then came on board. It's taken a long time, but I think by doing that slow process and not sort of making anything instant, it was a slow burn. And then obviously COVID got in the way as well. But I think the process went really well. I think without you being there and actually talking it through with us, I don't think we would have been where we are today.
Thank you. Yeah, I did find it a challenge, but you know, I'm a professional mediator, so these things are sort of bread and butter to me. But each case needs looked at on its own merits, and I'm very pleased that you know, my intervention at the early stage, if you like, has borne dividends. I think, given the size of your practice and the complexities and of needs of partners, I think we did well to find someone, the right kind of person early on. And then COVID got in the way. How did you feel when the country shut down? What was your feeling? Because you'd made initial contact with someone, you were happy to.
We had.
What did it feel like?
I think, again, there was a nervousness that with COVID and the way, you know, particularly accountancy firms were potentially going to lose clients and potentially losing staff, that we maybe started this journey and it wasn't going to finish, in which case we'd be left sort of at the end of not really a cliff edge, but sort of starting something, then not knowing where we're going to go with it. And having made that decision, the two of us, that we wanted to sort of retire and move forward, it was a bit of a sense of trepidation, actually, that what we wanted wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was nervous, obviously, like anyone else who had the business, what would happen. The odd thing was that, you know, I was dealing with a sector which was actually flourishing, and it was good for the sector. It wasn't good for me because people were saying, well, we're not going to do the deal now, we'll just wait.
Yeah.
You know, but be that as it may, it's all grist to the mill, and that's the nature of business, and you roll with the punches. So I was very pleased that the person who wanted to buy you out originally came back out when we reconnected after COVID, and he was still game for us. He's gone and done the deal, which I suppose is a testament to the fact how robust your business is.
Yes, and I think we were really lucky. As you know, we had a couple of people that were looking at us, and I think the way you dealt with it and actually sort of filtered some of the people who were going to be a benefit to us, as opposed to some other businesses. Yeah, it's worked well. They've engaged really well with us, and I know they've talked to you over a number of occasions about bits and pieces as well. Yeah, I think we've really got a good fit in terms of the personnel who've come and that we've merged with, but also their whole ethos is exactly the same as ours, and that's what we were worried about, that we weren't going to get the same mix. And in fact, one of the things that we've put out in our merger letter is that, you know, there was a lot of thinking about where we're going to choose the right people, and we put in it's a good fit, and it really is. The staff have gelled well, the processes they've got exactly the same as ours. It really has worked very, very well for us.
So at what point did you actually tell your staff we have a deal? Because obviously discretion is very important. It's something which I am very, very keen about observing as discretion. You know, when I phone companies up, and you know, I never leave a message. I just say that the name is Norman and it's a private matter. It raises a few eyebrows of secretaries, but you know.
It does. I think we were very nervous that we didn't want to say anything too early until we knew that the deal was going to be signed. because, as you know, until the ink's dry on the paper, you're not going to get anywhere. So once the deal had been signed, and it was really only probably a month before we actually did the formal merger, we sat down with the staff and told them what was going on. You know, I think probably one or two of them had an inclination that something was going on behind the scenes, as staff do, because they see what goes on. They're not silly. But yeah, everybody took it well. We explained the reasons in full. We really told them what we were doing. And everybody, you know, we said it was a great opportunity for them, and that they've all took that on board. And I must admit, post-merger, they've said, yeah, what you told us was the truth. It's a great opportunity. You know, you did exactly what you said you were going to do, and we're really happy with it.
I always tell sellers, just tell the staff the truth, just tell them what's happening. But understandably, I suppose many of them are keen to keep their cards close to their chest. But sometimes they forget that they have to actually show their hand eventually, which can, you know, it can cause tension. Tension is the last thing you want.
Yeah, because, you know, the staff are the most important thing of the business, because if you haven't got your staff, then you know, you can't service your clients. Yeah. And I think that's why we felt it was really important to keep them on board, to be clear at every single step. Once we told them what was going to happen, we then had regular meetings with them and told them exactly what was going to happen and how it was going to happen.
Right. Okay. So were you happy with the way that we managed everything? If you know, if final question, you know, if you're
absolutely, you know,
would I get my 5 stars?
You know, it's been a long journey since 2019, but as I say, COVID doesn't help. But you know, the one thing I'd say is you kept in contact with me all the time, you know, giving me advice or giving us advice as to where we were going. I was the lead contact with them. But keeping me in the loop as to also where they were as well in terms of bits. So yeah, I couldn't endorse you any more than I could, Norman, to be honest. You know, it was a good process, and I think without you, we wouldn't be where we are now, and we're having the result that we got actually out of it as well.
That's very kind of you, Bob. I really appreciate the positive feedback. And what can I say? Just enjoy whatever you're going to be doing. I'm sure you'll continue doing your community work, civic work, and volunteer.
Yep.
And enjoy the rewards of it. Thank you so much, and I'm sure our paths will cross.
Okay, that's fine. Great. Thanks again, Norman.
Bye-bye.
Bye.